Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien, and today's live stream we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin currently at $119,900. We did see it get as high as about $123,000 last night, while most of us was sleeping, or at least I was sleeping. It was like around like 3:30 in the morning Eastern time is when the price of Bitcoin went up to $123,000. But I mean, currently Bitcoin is just hovering near $120,000. Let me just do a quick sound check. All right, I can hear myself. But yeah, where can Bitcoin go next? I mean, is this rally, is this pump done pumping, or are we going to continue going up to higher prices here? That is what we're going to try to figure out here. And then also we'll take a look at some other altcoins that did pretty well, like Sui, like XRP, that had some pretty good days as well. And then we'll take a look at some of your requests here. But yeah, Bitcoin, right, got as high as about $123,231 earlier today, this morning. And we're kind of cooling down right now on Bitcoin price. If Bitcoin was to cool down a little bit further, I do have a Fibonacci retracement that could show us where we could come down. The first level that we would want to see some support at is the 786 retracement level at $117,800 Bitcoin. This little blue level right here, these blue numbers. If Bitcoin wants to come a little bit further down than that, then we might get a 618 retracement at $113,000 Bitcoin. Or maybe even the 0.5 retracement at $110,000 Bitcoin. But still, high up there in the $100,000. I'm not sure if we're ever going to see Bitcoin go below $100,000. I probably just jinxed us right now by even saying that, because now Bitcoin's probably going to go down below $100,000 after I just said that. But the longer we stay up here, the less likely that we'll ever revisit those levels below 100K again. And now we're looking at the moving averages that could provide us some support. We have the 50-day moving average currently sitting at $101,323. If Bitcoin was to actually come down to that level, I would think it would probably have confluence with the 0.236 retracement at $104,000. I think this green line will continue creeping up to higher prices as the days go by here, and we could see 104K Bitcoin being a good support level, because we have been at 104K for the most part all throughout like the month of June, going into the end of May here. I think 104K should be a good support area and a good area to pick up some cheaper Bitcoin if Bitcoin does come down to that level. Now, for the bullish case for Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin does continue climbing up to higher prices, we do have a 1618 now that says that we could get up to $138,000 Bitcoin, and that's measuring from basically the top here at $123,000 Bitcoin that we did today, going down to that swing low here at $98,000 Bitcoin, which we saw back in June 22nd, was your last opportunity to buy Bitcoin below 100 grand. It gives us this Fibonacci number here at $138,000 Bitcoin. Now, I actually want to add another number in there. Let me go ahead and do that right now. If you guys are familiar with the Fibonacci tool set here, there's another level that we could put in there. I'm going to click on the settings over here for Fibonacci, and I'm going to go down to the 127. I'm actually going to click this on, okay? Because this could be another level that for us to look out for is the 1.27 level here, which I just put in light green color here. And now we have the 127 level here showing up on the Fibonacci extension levels here. And this is saying that we could see $130,000 Bitcoin. So I still think $130,000 Bitcoin is going to be coming up on deck in 2025 here. I still have a long-term target of like $170,000 Bitcoin, mainly because the reason why I have $170,000 Bitcoin as a target now is because if I turn on the if I turn on the Pi cycle top indicator, which has been proven to be right back in the past plenty of times here, the Pi cycle indicator has a green line right above us here that says that, you know, Bitcoin needs to get up to like $173,000 before we can even say that it's topping out here for Bitcoin. So I'm on the lookout for that. That's my target. until the price actually catches up to that green line, I don't think we're done with Bitcoin going up in price. But Bitcoin can still go down, and I'm still eyeballing, you know, these levels here. Mainly, if Bitcoin's going to continue to remain extremely bullish here, then we might get a shallow retracement just down to the $117,000 level. But we could most likely head down to like 113,000, which is where this golden pocket Fibonacci, this 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level's at. And then a doomsday target, or like a really bad day in crypto, would probably be Bitcoin coming right back down to $104,000, which I think will get a lot of support at if we do come to that level. But let me go ahead and throw on the VRVP just for like a final analysis of like how Bitcoin's doing right now, to see if there's any other levels we might be missing here. And if I go to my VRVP indicator, you'll see these green and red bars off to the right here. You'll see that we have a blue line, which is highlighting the highest volume node on this VRVP indicator. It's saying that, you know, Bitcoin still has some support at $96,000. I'm not sure if we're going to go below 100K. But if we do go below 100K, then $96,000 should hold, you know, give us some support. But I do see a high volume node right here at the $104,000-$105,000 level. So I think, you know, $104,000-$105,000 makes sense if Bitcoin does decide to do a, you know, like a poopy doopy drop on us here. If we come down to 104K, I think we'll get some support at that level. Okay. Moving on to some other cryptos here. Let me go ahead and turn the brightness up here a little bit. But moving on to some other cryptos here that did pretty well. Some of you guys might have seen how Sui was doing. Sui's up 11% today. Currently trading at $3.88. I think we saw a $4 Sui earlier today. Let me just double check as I start to zoom in here on the chart. We had yeah, $4 Sui earlier today. But now we're currently hovering at $3.88. I do have a previous Fibonacci analysis. Let me get rid of the VRVP for now. I do have a previous Fibonacci analysis, just measuring, because we did get up to like $4.29 on May 12th here for Sui. And I measured from there down to the swing low where, I'm sorry, down to the impulse low here where we saw Sui at $2 for the most part on back in April. Should probably adjust this to like this level, this low right here, but I'll leave that as is. And this is saying that, you know, right now we should be getting resistance near the $3.80 level here at the 76 retracement. I think that's what's going on right now for Sui. Although we just peeked our head above it, this is a level that other traders are eyeballing. And it's also a level that back here in May, Sui was trading at $3.80 for the most part. Back in middle of May, late May here. And anybody that wants to get out of Sui and get into something else, they're probably going to click the sell button now that Sui's back to break even for these people over here. Okay. I bet you if I turn on the VRVP, it's probably going to say the same thing here. VRVP saying that we do have a high volume node here at $3.90. Okay. And then we also have some volume here at $3.70. Actually, $3.80 does not actually show up on the VRVP. There's actually a gap right here on the VRVP. If I just hide this for a second here, let me go ahead and just hide this. You see there's a gap on the VRVP here, right at like $3.80. So that actually means we should be going right up to $3.90. Okay, which I guess we're kind of at right now with Sui. Let me go ahead and put that Fibonacci back on again. Okay, so with the Fibonacci levels here, I can see Sui probably ping-ponging between $3.80 and $3.40 until we finally get some more conviction that we're actually going to challenge this $4.29 level here. And if we get past $4.29, let me go ahead and put on that 127 level here. A level that I need to start incorporating into my Fibonacci extension levels here. But we could see $4.89 as a 127 retracement fib extension level, and then we could also see SUI come up to $5.67 as another Fibonacci extension level in the near future here. Let me check on the comments here, see what you guys have to say about what I've been saying so far. Let's see. Oh man, I have a good amount of comments here. I'm currently live streaming on TikTok and YouTube, guys. I see Rich is in the chat saying, "What's up? Call me a party animal." What is up, Rich? I am just living my life as best as I can. I like to have fun when I can, but I usually work 6 days a week, so I don't know how much of a party animal I could possibly be. Somebody here is saying my voice is no good. I don't know why you think my voice is no good. Fix this. My voice no good. Momo saying it'll probably go down to 60 next bear market. You talking about Bitcoin going down to 60K? Okay. Dylan House says possible to go to 112K. Okay. Another guy here, Apple user, thinks we'll go to 112K on Bitcoin as well. Okay. You guys might be using the. Are you guys using the Fibonacci? I'm wondering where you guys getting 112K. I literally have 2 people saying 112K Bitcoin, and I'm wondering if I might have missed something on my analysis on Bitcoin. Rich says he hears me pretty well. One of my TikTok guys says they couldn't really hear me. I'm not sure why. I literally got the phone right here. You see my phone here? I got my phone right here, and I know there's nothing wrong with my phone, so I don't know why he's not able to hear me. HDZZZ saying, should you hold ETH or sell while it's up? I can't really give you financial advice, HDZZ, but what I can tell you is that if I was in profit on Ethereum, I would try to sell a little bit just to lock in some profits. And if you got some bills to pay, if you got a credit card bill or something that you need to pay, you know, and you gotta sell something to pay those bills, then by all means, you should, you know, now's not a bad time if you need to sell some Ethereum to go, you know, pay some bills. But I think you can stick around a little bit longer. I think Ethereum's gonna go to higher prices. Apple is saying that Ethereum could probably go to $3,300 by the end of this week. Currently, just the RSI is cooling. Yeah, I feel the same way. You know what? Let me take a look at SUI's RSI real quick here. Right now, the RSI on SUI is at 71, so SUI could probably use a cooldown period too. If Bitcoin decides to go down to low prices, SUI's probably going to follow suit, and the RSI will cool off in the meantime while it's doing that. Valentino is saying that SUI is unlocking tokens. Does it mean price go low or up? Usually unlocking tokens is not a good sign. It means that there might be some selling pressure. So I wouldn't be surprised if that causes the price of SUI to go down because of that. But almost every token has some unlocking or inflation going on right now. Even Bitcoin itself, even though it's not being unlocked, Bitcoin has inflation, right? At the current rate, what is it like? They create 3.25 Bitcoins every block that gets mined. So there's more Bitcoin being mined every day, and yeah, Bitcoin has inflation as well, but not as much as some of these other coins, and I totally get that, understand that. But let me just finish up my analysis here on SUI. Yeah, if SUI loses its momentum and comes down here, right, then we could probably see SUI come down to the 200-day moving average, which is this red line at $3.25, and that's kind of confluent with this 0.5 retracement level as well. Okay, but I think SUI's going to be one of those strong performers here. I wouldn't be surprised if Sui actually does go up to $4.29 while Bitcoin is going down in price, because Sui likes to outperform and go exponential any chance it gets. Anytime it gets a little bit of room to run, it will run the ball and try to make something happen here. Alright. Rich corrected me. Yeah, is it 3.125 Bitcoins? About one block every 10 minutes? That sounds about right. I might have the numbers mixed up, but I know it's like 3 Bitcoin every roughly 3 Bitcoin every block gets mined for Bitcoin, and that's a little bit of inflation there. Okay, all right. So we just looked at Sui. I wanted to look at XRP, but somebody just mentioned Ethereum, so why don't we just look at Ethereum first, and then we'll look at XRP. And right now we're currently looking at Ethereum, right? Ethereum currently trading at $3,008 right now. Ethereum is also kind of a little bit overbought on the RSI as well. This little red line here. You can see Ethereum at RSI 72. So it wouldn't surprise me, guys, if we actually go sideways at best this week. All right. Maybe we might go down. It's going to be a little bit tough to continue pushing the prices higher here. Let me get rid of this Fibonacci for now. It's going to be a little bit tough for us to continue going up to higher prices with the RSIs being overbought on Bitcoin and Ethereum and some of these other layer 1 high market cap crypto coins that we have. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually just continue going sideways until we cool down a little bit. But we might have to come back down to lower prices just to generate some more demand and interest in Ethereum and cryptos. Right now, if you are a moving average trader and you like using moving averages, your 200-day moving average on Ethereum is sitting at $2,400, $2,474 to be exact. Okay, that would probably hurt, because that would be about roughly a 30% drop from where we are right now. Let me just measure that real quick here. We come right down to the 200-day. Oh my, no, it's more like a 20%. It's like an 18-20% drop. My numbers are off a little bit, but that's why I measured it. Yeah. If Ethereum does come down to that 200-day moving average, you could be in for an 18% hit on your investment in Ethereum. But I think that now that we got clearly above the 200-day moving average, I think now we can start using it as support instead of resistance. And then we can just move on to higher prices from there. Let me go into the 4-hour, see what the 4-hour looks like on Ethereum. We're now looking at the 4-hour time frame for Ethereum. You do have your moving averages clearly below us. You do have the 50-day moving average at 2652. Okay. And then of course you have this 21 EMA, this white line on the 4-hour time frame here. Has been acting as support for the most part, especially after we made this impulse move here. This 21 EMA is sitting at 2982. I think if we start losing 2,980, this white line here, we could be in for, probably a steep drop. Take us right down to like this last level here at $27 Ethereum, where we have a little bit of a sideways trading action going on. This could be a support level here for Ethereum. So we do have some levels here. Don't lose 2980, which is kind of like where we're at right now. But if you lose 2980, then I expect us to come right down to 2700. And if we can't hold 2700, then we'll probably come down to like 26 or even 2500 here, where we have even more sideways support action on Ethereum. So yeah, these are your levels to be looking out for. I'll just mark this on the chart. $2,700 could be a support area, and right over here at 2,500 could be another support area where we might get a bounce on Ethereum if we do come down to those lower prices. Now, as I start to zoom out here a little bit, I'll quickly do a Fibonacci analysis here, see if this matches up with anything, and then we can also figure out where Ethereum might go with the Fib extension levels here. So there we go. All right, so as I start to zoom out here, you can see that we do have the 0.236 retracement at $2,500 Ethereum. So I'm expecting 2,500 or roughly the high 2,500s, maybe $2,600. Could be a good area for Ethereum to get a bounce if we do a steep drop down to that level. I did mark off $2,700 right over here, but it looks like we also have a 0.5 retracement that says $2,700. Could get respected if we drop down to that level on Ethereum. And then moving on, if we do go to higher prices on Ethereum, then we are looking at 127. That could show like a $3,200, $3,273 Ethereum could be coming up on deck here. And then we got a 1618 that says $3,500 Ethereum could be coming up on deck as well. Rich wants us to look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. Okay. And then you said if you count all the Bitcoin that has been sold, that has been lost, probably deflation. Yeah. Yeah. There's probably that. And then, you know, how many Bitcoin holders have held their Bitcoin and might have passed away by now, and they didn't send that Bitcoin to one of their relatives or friends. They didn't actually you know, write down the passwords and have it accessible to their family members if they died. I wonder how much of that is going on out in the world today. Which leads me to believe that, you know, you guys should write down your pass phrases and passcodes, your recovery phrases, put it somewhere safe. And then also maybe talk to your lawyer, an estate planning lawyer, so you can have that written down in your will. If you can pass that down to your family, if something does happen to you, and anything could happen. You could, I mean, God forbid something happens to anybody today or tomorrow, but a car accident or allergic reaction to medication could cause, you know, something to happen to you. And then how does your family and friends get access to those coins that you've been saving up all this time if something does happen to you? Something to think about, okay? But that's probably a reason why we see some deflation going on with Bitcoin, because there's also coins being lost right now. But yeah, let's look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, like my buddy Rich wants us to take a look at. And I think Rich wants to see where the liquidation levels might be and some of these stop losses maybe. We'll look at the Binance Bitcoin USDT liquidation heat map. And this liquidation heat map is for Bitcoin. You can see the Bitcoin prices here. $120,000 Bitcoin. You can see like the green and red candlestick bar over here. And you can see that we have a yellow area below us, okay? At $118,500 Bitcoin, there's about $104 million of liquidation possible. This is where the longs who are long in Bitcoin, who are day trading Bitcoin, this is where they're going to get liquidated at. If Bitcoin comes down to $118,500, that's a good chunk of longs getting liquidated right there. We do have some more liquidation here at $119,900 Bitcoin. That's interesting because we're kind of like at that price right now with Bitcoin. So there could be some Bitcoin might want to come down, liquidate these longs at $118,000 before we go up to higher prices. There's not much liquidation above us. I do see like here at like $123,580. There's about $72 million of liquidation, which is like, these are the stop losses of all the short sellers that are out there, for the most part. It doesn't mean that they're stop losses. It means that they're going to end up losing their account and getting liquidated at that level. But that just goes to show, like, yeah, we would have to get to $123,000 for the short sellers to be scared and actually get liquidated, and for us to go to higher prices. But this doesn't make me feel all too good about Bitcoin going to higher prices, because you want to see more yellow above our current price here. If you have more yellow bars over here, then you would actually see the price probably start creeping up towards that level. But because there's more yellow below us, probably means the price wants to go down and then come back up again, if it does come back up. I think it will come back up, but let's take a look at how many longs got liquidated today, and see the longs versus short sellers here. So here we got the liquidation heat map. Wow, it looks like a lot of Pengu holders are getting liquidated right now. Pudgy Penguins coin is a meme coin, and there's about $589,000 of liquidation, and most of that was short sellers getting liquidated. 400,000 short sellers. But back here, looking at Bitcoin, we do have. Yeah, let me just make sure I click on Bitcoin here. Yeah. All right. For Bitcoin, over the last hour, about $3 million of liquidations have occurred, and most of that has been longs, but some of it has been short sellers. Over the last 12 hours, though, we have $185 million of liquidation, and most of that has been long day traders getting liquidated right here, and the shorts are actually winning. They're only losing about $36 million. Okay, and over the last 24 hours here, we've had a lot more short sellers getting wrecked versus longs. But we had about $203 million of longs getting liquidated, and about $560 million of short sellers getting liquidated. Okay, so yeah, the short sellers were getting their butts handed to them over the past couple of days here. But over the last 12 hours, it was actually been the longs that have been getting liquidated, and that's why the price has been coming down on us. All right, let's get back over to the charts here. We're gonna now take a look at XRP, which had a pretty decent day. Did XRP get above $3 today? It did, at least on Coinbase Exchange. We saw XRP as high as $3.03. Okay, currently XRP is trading at $2.95. Okay, let me just zoom out to the daily chart here for XRP. You see that XRP has had a pretty good week here ever since Tuesday of last week. It's been up in green, up in green. Slowly but surely, nothing too crazy, nothing to write home to mom about. They had a really good day. XRP investors had a really good day on Friday when we saw XRP go up 7.29%, knocking on the door of $3. We didn't really get there, and we didn't do that on Saturday either. Sunday we didn't get there, but today we did get up to $3 on XRP. And as long as you're above this 200-day movement average, I think we can finally use this 200-day movement average as support rather than resistance. And I'm happy to see XRP get above $3 because we do have a previous high here. That was a lower high back here in March 2nd at $3, and we got above that level, and we want to stay above that level and continue making higher highs here. Yeah, we could come down and make a higher low, but we want to eventually continue making higher highs and show that we're in an uptrend on XRP. And if XRP continues going to higher prices, we probably then have to contend against this $3.42 level here back in January. We saw XRP at $3.40, and I still got the 1618 saying that XRP could be a $5.21 asset. I think we could see $5 XRP in 2025 here. And then I also have a 2618 saying that we could see $8 XRP in the near future, or probably later on in 2025 here. Maybe 2026, who knows? Guys, I'm a little bit interested. Put a 25 if you think Bitcoin and crypto is going to top out in 2025. Put a 26 in the chat if you think Bitcoin and crypto is going to top out in 2026. I'm a little bit curious what your thoughts are here, guys. Let me know what you think. Is it going to be 2025? Put a 25 for 25, or put a 26 for 2026. I see Kevin's in the chat. Good to see you, Kevin. And let's see. Rich is saying here in the chat, you had a friend that worked. He rents out a carriage house. He bought 2.5 Bitcoin back in 2016, and he lost the seed phrase. Oh my God, that's terrible. When he bought it, you told him to give you a copy of it because you knew he would lose it, and it wasn't. And you weren't even into Bitcoin yet at the time. Oh. Rich, that sounds a little bit suspect. Why would you ask for his seed phrase? Yeah. But you said he lost his seed phrase and he's not. Did he lose access to his crypto? If he could still log into his account, he could send his Bitcoin to another wallet and create a new seed phrase, and that could solve the problem. As long as he still is able to log on to his account, losing your seed phrase is not the end of the world. If you could send that Bitcoin before you lose access to the wallet. All right, we got a couple of people here saying 2026 is when Bitcoin is going to top out. Okay, I see you guys. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Let's see if we can get the amount of likes to match the amount of people that are in the live stream right now. Appreciate you guys hitting that like button for me. It's also gonna get a few more people to come join us here. Dylan's asking about tomorrow's data. I assume you're talking about the PPI and the CPI. I think tomorrow's the CPI, and then Wednesday's gonna be the PPI data. So far, from what I've seen in the last couple of months with the inflation data, we've been having tamed inflation. Inflation's been coming down compared to where it was a year ago. But I don't know what's gonna happen with tariffs and whatnot. I know we've had a pause on tariffs, but we have been collecting some tariffs on some of these countries, like China. So I don't know what that's gonna do to the numbers, but if the trend is anything to go off of, I think inflation is not going to really be a problem tomorrow. Let's see if I can find that on we'll take a look at what they're expecting for the numbers for inflation here. We have hey, what is this? Get out of here. Always asking me about, do I want a cookie? Reject all, please. Thank you. All right, so we have the CPI index coming out tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning Eastern time. They're expecting CPI to be about 2.7. Yeah, they're forecasting 2.7 inflation for CPI year over year. Last month it was at 2.4%. We want to see somewhere below 2.7 or lower for us to be in the good graces of the Federal Reserve and hopefully get an interest rate cut. If we get a number higher than 2.7, then the Federal Reserve is not going to cut interest rates. At least not anytime soon. And then of course on Wednesday we have the PPI data, which is the Producer Price Index. And PPI year over year was 2.6% last month, so we want a number at 2.6 or lower, just to show that we're actually making progress on inflation. And I think that's like the big two numbers to be looking out for Tuesday and Wednesday here. They come out on 8:30 in the morning Eastern time on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday we have initial jobless claims, which might cause the market to make a move on that. And I mean, we do have some numbers here, U.S. retail sales numbers that could affect the markets as well on Thursday. So we have some pretty important data coming out in the markets on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday around 8:30. And I think Friday's going to be a nothing burger. And then next week? Existing home sales, that will be a big number to watch out for next Wednesday. And then Thursday, new home sales. And I can't really remember when the Federal Reserve is going to have a meeting, but I think they should be having a meeting in July, right? It might be the last week of July though. So a little bit too early for us to see here. But going back to XRP here, XRP is doing fine. I think if we do come down, we'll probably retest the candle wick highs here on May 12th at $2.65 XRP. Maybe we can use this as support. And if I quickly do a fib retracement from where we are right now to the impulse move here, yeah, you can see probably this 0.5 retracement levels where I'd be eyeballing if XRP does come down. I think we should get some bids at $2.60 for XRP. I'm reading your comments here, Rich. You said the guy that you work with, he loses everything. You knew it would happen. This is why you said that I wasn't in the crypto yet and didn't even know what a seed phrase was. I just knew he would lose it. Oh, okay. So you not knowing anything about crypto, you were just trying to be a good friend and offered to hold on to his seed phrase. Not knowing how very important and powerful that seed phrase is, and that you really shouldn't be sharing that with anybody except maybe your lawyer, someone that you know you can hold accountable if they do try to run off with your money. Yeah, well, I think, you know, Rich, that just shows that you're a good friend. Had he done that, you know, that would have been nice of you to give that, you know, information to him so he could get his money back. But you live and you learn, I guess. Parker's asking me, do I think XRP will ever get up to $5 before November? I think that is a possibility, yes. The sooner we get that XRP ETF, the sooner we'll get to $5 on XRP. And I think they have the deadline, or the latest deadline is like, they're going to have an XRP ETF decision by October, but it could happen tomorrow, it could happen next week, it could happen next month. That XRP ETF could happen anywhere between now and October, and I think that's when you'll see $5 XRP. All right, Crypto Boy saying that 2026. So it seems like a lot of people think like 2026 is going to be when crypto and Bitcoin tops off at. Okay, I still think it's going to happen this year. Between October and December is when I think Bitcoin will top out at, and crypto will top out. But maybe this time is different. But I just know, like, in the last couple of cycles that we had, like 4 years ago, if you believe in the 4-year cycle, last time Bitcoin topped off, it topped out at November of 2021. And then 4 years before that, in December of 2017, Bitcoin topped out, you know, towards the end of the year for that year. So I think Bitcoin might top out the end of this year, somewhere between October and December. But that's just my educated guess, my opinion. I could be wrong, and I have been wrong, but I'm just basing on what I've seen. I've been in Bitcoin since 2017, so that's what I've seen so far, is that Bitcoin always tops out at the end of the year. And I think it's going to be this year, not next year. Nick is asking me, is XRP coming back down for a good long position? If it does come back down, I have it out here on the charts right now. You know, XRP could come down to this 0.5 retracement. I think at $2.60 would be a good area of support for XRP. Let's see. Let me go ahead and just turn on some of my other indicators here. Yeah, just using the VRVP here, you can see that there's a little bit of a high volume node here between $2.50 and $2.60. I think this is where XRP will come down to if it does come down, and you could probably get some cheap XRP at like $2.50 or $2.60, which is kind of almost like a psychological number to be that traders will be looking at. Yeah, I think $2.50, $2.60 is where you should try to put in your limit orders on the exchanges to be buying XRP if you can. We're kind of in like a Q&A session here. Marco is asking me, do I think we could see a super cycle? We haven't seen retail enter the market yet, and others. Marco, every time someone says super cycle, it like never happens. And you know, I'm gonna give you my thoughts about super cycles. The problem with a super cycle is that as soon as the prices go up and people have enough money to start doing things that they were dreaming about doing, like buying a house or buying a Lamborghini or whatever, they're gonna sell their crypto to go buy that house or buy that Lamborghini or whatever the hell they're trying to do, right? Pay off their college, you know, student loans or whatever, pay off their credit cards. And that's going to create selling pressure. So, like, that's the super cycle. I'm not sure if we're going to get that super cycle. We might get, like, we might not get, like, 80% drops in the price of Bitcoin like we have seen in past cycles. But I don't know about a super cycle. And you mentioned that we haven't seen retail enter. Well, to be honest with you, I feel like most of my family and friends who are the retail investors, they've already been invested in crypto. Everybody knows what Bitcoin is by now. Okay, even the people who are haters. The only people who don't know about Bitcoin are, like, you know, indigenous tribes in like the middle of the Amazon that have never seen a computer or a phone or electricity. Like, everybody that has access to a phone and computer, it can watch the news, has already knows what Bitcoin is and what it's capable of doing. And I think retail's already here, but retail's been burned. So maybe when retail starts to feel comfortable about getting into crypto again, we'll see Bitcoin go up to, like, you know, $200,000 maybe later on this year. Let me take a look at Bitcoin right now and see what it's doing. Yeah, we might see Bitcoin go up to $200,000 and see altcoins have an altcoin season again. But I don't know about a super cycle, because retail's already here. Like, all my friends and family that would have bought Bitcoin and would have bought crypto have already bought it. Even my cousin that was a hater and, you know, was working at the bank, even he thought about buying Bitcoin at one point when he saw Bitcoin get up to like 60 grand. So I think all the haters and the non-believers are now believers at this point. And now they just need to see the price go a little bit higher for them to be, you know, more of a believer and actually buy some more Bitcoin and crypto. But they're gonna buy Bitcoin at the price that they deserve to get it at. And if they haven't bought Bitcoin yet, or if they're on the fence about it, then they're just gonna have to pay for higher prices. And me and you are gonna be the ones that sell it to the Johnny come lates here. All right, MG Motorsports in the chat. MG saying, good day, Damien. Come over from Road Dog Stream, as I have seen you there a few times. Appreciate MG Motorsport. Appreciate you coming into the live stream. We're just, I'm just kind of doing like a Q&A, unless people have some requests here. Seems like we're just talking about the Bitcoin cycle, the super cycles, how high the price of Bitcoin can possibly go. We talked about XRP and SUI earlier. But yeah. Appreciate you coming on to the live stream. Don't forget to hit the like button. Rich is saying the money managers are changing their recommended allocation from like 3% to 30%. Wow. That would help. That's going to help push up the price of Bitcoin and crypto. Over the counters are about to have a supply shock. That would help. That would definitely help. Bronzeman asking me, what platform am I using? I am using right now, to look at charts right now, I'm looking at TradingView. I'm using TradingView. You go to www.tradingview.com and you could set up an account. You can get a free account, but you're not going to be able to do all these indicators that I have here. If you want to use all these indicators, you have to do a subscription plan with TradingView, and I think that's like $100 or $200 a year, something like that. You can do a monthly plan if you don't want to do a yearly subscription, but you'll save money if you do it, you know, for a year. And then as far as like if you're asking me what exchanges I use, I like using Coinbase and Kraken for the United States exchanges, and then you know Mexi is also a good exchange for the foreign exchanges that are out there. They got some low trading fees. If you can get on to Binance, Binance is a good exchange to get onto. Lots of volume, and I think the fees are pretty good there. Marco's asking me about AVAX. Okay, we got a request. Let's take a look at AVAX. Alright, so we're now looking at Avalanche, AVAX, currently trading at $21.23. And easy enough, just using moving averages here, I can see that, you know, Avalanche has gone above most of the moving averages except for the 200-day, which could act as a resistance at $23.99. That's where the 200-day is currently sitting at. I did have some previous chart work here. I did highlight $24.74. I think that was because when I looked at Avalanche before, it was this 200-day moving average was coming down to that area. Also, $24.74. Just looking back through history, $24.74 is an area where we've had some candlewick closes and some opening and closes at that level. As I zoom out some more, yeah, you can see like even back here in November of 2023, we had a top here at $24.74. So yeah, the history is shown here. I think $24.74 is a level to be looking for, where you could see Avalanche get rejected at that level once it finally does climb up to that price level there. I'll quickly pull out a fib. Figure out where Avalanche could go next. Oh wow, so even on my fib level, right? The 786 retracement is saying that $24 should be a level that we have to be on the lookout for Avalanche, okay? So yeah, I think $24 for some reason is going to be that magic number where you're going to probably need to consider selling your Avalanche, okay? Maybe if you're bearish on it, you can open up a short at $24. But if we get past that level, then $26 should be the next level, which is where Avalanche was at back in on May. And then if we get past that level, then we do have a 1272 that says $29 Avalanche could be coming into play, and then we have a $33 Avalanche could be coming into play as well with a 1618. And that $29 and $33 level is confluent with some of these candlewick closes and sideways trading action going on here back in January and December of last year. So I think those are some reasonable price target levels to be looking out for Avalanche, AVAX. Those are your upside targets. Now downside targets, you know, if Avalanche loses this momentum here, right, we could come down to the 0.382 retracement at $19.82, or we could see 0.236 level at $18 is where we had some sideways trading action back in June. Yeah, most of June we were at like $18 for Avalanche, so I think that should be a support level if we do come down to that price. Thanks guys for hitting that like button. I see I'm getting a lot of hearts there. Someone is liking what I'm having to say here. Appreciate it. And I appreciate you too, Marco, for coming on to the live stream. I'm glad I was able to help you out there. Alright. Dylan Wallison, did you make a request for USDC? USDUC, I don't know what that is, but I could try to type it in and see what comes up. Are you talking about US dollar coin? I'm going to type it as you put it in there. USDUC. Is this the US dollar to the euro? Is that what you want me to look at? Okay, sure, why not? And this is on Kraken Exchange, and there's not much data on it. This thing is trading at 1 penny, and it's down 20% today. I'm not sure what you want me to do with this chart here. There's nothing I can do here. This thing looks like it started trading on July 2nd here. And you got a candle wick high here, and there's not much I can do for data here. I don't have any moving averages to use. I don't have the VRVP or anything. Well, yeah, I guess I could do a VRVP, but this is not enough data. I can't do anything with this. Thank you, Marco. Thank you. I try to give you as much of my knowledge as I possibly can here. We got a request here for Pengu. Alright, we'll take a look at Pengu. Appreciate that. For my YouTube guys, I actually am getting requests here from my TikTok guys on my phone here. And I'll do your request as well, but right now my TikTok guys are keeping me busy here. But I see Rich just put in a request for Nair protocol. Alright, so we'll look at Pengu and then we'll look at Nair. Pengu. Did I spell that wrong? What is it? Pudgy Penguins, right? Pudgy Penguins, Pengu. Yeah, there we go. There it is. Sorry. Pengu. Currently trading at just under 3 pennies. Had a pretty good weekend from what I've remembered. Looks like here on Sunday you went up 28%. Yikes! Wow. Okay. Hello. Could you share the wealth here with us, Pudgy Penguins? And then you also had another good day here on Friday when you're up 23%. So Pudgy Penguin is cashing the beds here. But I bet you if I turn on the oscillators, you're gonna see that this thing is overheated. Yeah, look at this RSI, right? RSI on Pudgy Penguins is currently overbought, overheated. Anytime you have an RSI above 70, you're overbought. Right now, the RSI is at 86. So clearly overbought on the daily time frame here. So yeah, that's your RSI right there. Pudgy Penguins overbought. I'd be ready for this thing to pull back at any moment here. But the problem with being overbought is you can stay overbought. There's nothing that says that you have to come back down. Usually when you're overbought, you would expect it to at least start going sideways. But if this thing really is bullish, then yeah, it could keep on pushing prices higher and still stay overbought. And wow, we just had the daily candle just close right now. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time. And now we have some more data here to work with. And Pudgy Penguins, his RSI is at 85.85 right now. So yeah, 85.86. You are overbought on Pudgy Penguins. MACD looks healthy enough. Okay. Stochastic RSI is pretty high. And then on the market side for B, you had a buy dot saying that you should have bought Pudgy Penguins last Thursday. Alright, because I guess it knew that we were going to have a good weekend here. Going to market side for B, it predicted it up on Thursday. But then, you know, the thing about having a green dot is the next thing that's going to come is a red dot. So you're just waiting for that. When you see that red dot show up on market side for B, especially on the daily time frame, probably means it's time to get out, take your profit, and sell Pudgy Penguins. But I mean, Pudgy Penguins, it could still continue going up to higher prices, believe it or not. And now I'll quickly do a Fibonacci analysis here to figure out where could Pudgy Penguins go next, if it goes down or if it decides to go up. If Pudgy Penguins decides to continue going up, then we could see it come up to the 1272 level here at 3.039 pennies, or basically 4 pennies. Or it could come up to the 1618 at 4.048 pennies, roughly almost 5 pennies. Those are your upside targets for Pudgy Penguins. Now, if Pudgy Penguins does come down, most likely you get like a 0.5 retracement or the 0.618 retracement, and the 0.5 retracement is at 2 pennies. 0.618 is saying that we could see 0.023 pennies. This golden pocket right here is where it most likely would come down to if it does come down. Okay. And I don't really have any moving averages here saying that we could get some confluence here, except for this 200-day moving average sitting at 0.013 pennies, which is confluent with the 0.236 retracement. But yeah, I mean, that'd be a bad day for Pudgy Penguin longs right now. If we came down to 1 penny, or I'm sorry, 1.5 pennies, that's about a 50% drop, right? Let me just measure that out real quick here. If you come right down to that 200-day moving average, you'll lose about half your money with Pudgy Penguins. But you know, that's to be expected. You know, when you're in a meme coin, you can lose half your money, but you can also do a 10x with a meme coin. So that comes with the territory of being in a meme coin here. All right, and then the other request here was Near Protocol for Rich. And Rich wants me to look at XRP again, but on the low time frames. All right. Let's first look at Near Protocol, and then we'll go back to looking at your XRP here. And right now we currently have Near Protocol currently trading at $2.57. Looking at the daily time frame here, you can see that we have the moving averages here. 100-day moving average is acting as resistance right now for Near Protocol. But if you get above that, then the next resistance on the moving averages is the 200-day, sitting at $3.08. I do like that you are in an uptrend. I can see higher highs and higher lows being formed on the daily time frame here. Let's try to get past this last lower high here back in June at $2.72. Did we do that on Monday? No, we just came a little bit, just a hair shy of it, okay? But yeah, continue on this uptrend, get past this high here, and then of course get past these other lower highs here, and then you could be more bullish on Near Protocol. And then of course get above the 200-day moving average, and then you can be saying that we're back in business again, and Near Protocol is definitely bullish at that point if it can get above the 200-day moving average. But let me do a quick fib retracement. I'm just going to measure from the high here to the low in June. And my fib retracement is saying that the golden pocket's at $2.78 here. I think by the time the price climbs up here and gets up to that 200-day moving average, 200-day moving average might send it right back down to that golden pocket level here. But if the price exponentially climbs up to higher prices here, then yeah, the 200-day moving average at $3.05, 8 cents is confluent with the 786 retracement at $3.05. So I think this should be a take profit target here, $3.05 on Near Protocol. And then we'll just have to see if we're able to climb up to the higher price levels here. Get up to $3.39 and $3.83. But I think right now, in the medium to short term here, your take profit target is going to be $3.05. If you're not targeting $2.78, this should be your take profit target 1, and then take profit target 2 right here on Near Protocol. All right. Alex Becker likes Near Protocol. That's interesting. Yeah, I think I heard him mention that a few times in some of his videos. All right, let's go ahead and we'll take a look at XRP on the lower time frames. By lower time frame, I'll start off on the 1 hour time frame, see what I see there for XRP. XRP on the 1 hour time frame, I mean, it's above all the moving averages, so that's actually bullish, right? Being above all the moving averages, well, except for the 21 EMA, you're above most of them. But the 21 EMA, it kind of just hovers around it, and we're kind of doing that right now. But you know, we're kind of a little bit wary that we're below the 21 EMA right now at $2.95, but barely, just barely. But I don't know. Be on the lookout. This could be a lower high on the 1 hour time frame here compared to this last high here earlier on Monday. Could this possibly be a left shoulder ahead, maybe a right shoulder? Could this possibly be the high and then lower high, and then do we make another lower high as we go down to lower prices on XRP? I don't know. But that's what the 1 hour time frame is showing so far. But still bullish though, still bullish. But we could be topping out, who knows. And then going on to the 50-minute time frame here. 15-minute time frame, you do have you are above the moving averages, believe it or not, even on the 15-minute time frame. But you know, this possible, you know, left shoulder head and right shoulder starts to becomes more pronounced here once we get into the smaller time frames. But I think you can still be bullish on XRP even on the 15-minute time frame here. Let me go ahead and turn the oscillators on. RSI is just in neutral territory at 51, so it's not overbought or oversold. And then just look at the MACD. You have some green candles showing up here. So there are some bids being placed right now on XRP, but you probably want to see more buying pressure, like we had here last night on Sunday, going into Monday morning. You had a lot more buying pressure. Right now on the 15-minute time frame, you have buying pressure, but it's less than what it was last night. And you're also getting some light green candles. Those light green candles, as you can see from last night going into, you know, this morning that we had, the light green will continue being light green, and then eventually you get that flip, and then you start getting red candles. So be on the lookout. Like we could be forming a lower high here on XRP, just from what I'm looking at. And then looking at the market cipher B, right? You had a green dot at 4:45 Eastern time. But you know what happens after a green dot comes a red dot. And if you see a red dot showing up here on the 15-minute time frame on the market cipher B indicator, then you might be in for like a few more bad hours, a few more red candles here. I'm a little bit curious. I'm wondering if this is going to start showing up right now, to be honest. Because look, we're getting a nice red candle right now on the price chart. Rich wants to look at the 5-minute time frame. If I was scalping, and then you're asking me, do I draw demand lines? Sometimes I do. You know, I'll draw out lines, you know, demand lines or supply lines when I see them. The thing is, Rich, is that I use the moving averages a lot, and the moving averages, they kind of almost create my demand lines already. And this is actually the most accurate demand line because this is actual price action getting factored into the moving averages. So the moving averages are almost like a demand line. But if I get rid of the moving averages, I can kind of clean things up a little bit. And yeah, I could draw out, you know, some trend lines here. This is what I see so far. We have some candle wicks that came below that uptrend that we've been in. But yeah, we're clearly still in an uptrend on XRP on the 15-minute time frame here. But I think, you know, once you start losing $2.90 here, especially this candle wick low here at $2.87, you start losing $2.87 on XRP, and it's gonna be okay. We're going down, elevator down to lower levels, lower prices. And I think XRP might get some support at like 260, like I mentioned before in the live stream. I think $2.60 is going to be where XRP, $2.60, $2.50 XRP. But man, XRP's just been up and to the right, up and to the right. How good does this chart look, right? This is a chart like, yeah, you've been making money. This is such an easy way to make money, right? Ever since like Tuesday of last week, XRP's just been going up and to the right, up and to the right. Huh. All right, let's see. Ed Zilla is asking me, am I familiar with Polyswarm NCT? Yeah, I'm familiar. I've seen that crypto before. Is that something that you want me to look at the chart? Or were you just asking me if I'm familiar with it? Gata is asking me about XRP and XLM. So we just looked at XRP. I think XRP could go up to like, I think we're going to see $3 XRP if we're going to continue being bullish here. I mean, we're almost like, I mean, we're pretty much right there at $3. But going into the daily chart for XRP, if we get past $3, then $3.14 is a level that we were trading at sideways back here in January. So I think that's going to be a level, the next level for us to beat. And then $3.40 would be the next level after that, which is the high back in January of 2025 here. And then I think we'll see a $4 or $5 XRP sometime later on in 2025, especially if they come out with an XRP ETF. I think XRP could get up to $5 or higher. Idria's, what is it that you bought and it's going down? And then, oh, it looks like I missed a request here. ZTD Jim said, thoughts on Ani? Okay. Well, let me finish up here about XRP and XLM, and then we'll look at Ani. Thank you for the request. Don't forget to hit the like button. Guys, for my TikTok guys, especially if you're new to TikTok, if you double tap your screen, that sends a like, and it helps this live stream get out to more people out there. So go ahead and double click your phone, double tap your phone, and click that like button for me. Appreciate that. All right, so going to XLM, we did talk about XLM. What did we talk? We talked about XLM yesterday, right? Yeah, because XLM was doing pretty well yesterday. Looking at the daily time frame here for XLM, I have previous analysis here on XLM. Looks like we're kind of topping out on XLM here. 52 cents is the high water mark here. Okay, that's close to this 1.272 fib level that we're looking at 55 cents. I might have to adjust this now that we know what the high water mark is, this 52 cents. So we are looking at XLM. XLM currently trading at 45 cents. And XLM is currently literally right at the 786 retracement at 45 cents. So if XLM is going to continue remaining bullish here, then it's not going to go below 45 cents. Maybe it goes down to like 43 or 44 cents, but if it's going to be bullish, then it's going to not go below the 786 retracement, and it's going to go right back to 52 cents again. But if XLM does decide to go to lower prices here, we could see the 618 come into play here. You could scoop up some cheaper XLM at 40 cents. And then you got other fib retracement levels here. It would be a heartbreaker if XLM decides to come down to this 0.236 level at 29 cents. It's still a possibility here. Because XLM came up so quickly, it could do the opposite and come down real quickly, and it might actually get down to that 0.236 retracement at 29 cents. So I'd be wary and careful with XLM. I put my stop losses. If you guys are in profit right now, I probably put my stop losses maybe at 40 cents here. Lock in those profits, because as fast as this thing came up, it could come down just as hard and fast. And it's going to hurt if XRP comes down to 30 cents, right? If I measure that right now, oh, did I say XRP? I meant to say XLM. But if XLM comes down from where it is right now to that 30 cent level, it's going to be a 34% drop. But if you put your stop loss at 40 cents, then you're only going to lose about 9 or 10% here. Which is a lot better than losing 33%. Hey, Porky's in the live chat, live stream here. Finally, Porky's in the live chat. You know, now I can actually give a shout out to Porky. Guys, if you enjoy my live streams here, then I'm pretty sure you're gonna enjoy Porky. He goes a little bit, he live streams a little bit later than I do. Let me go ahead and show you guys here on YouTube. Porky Flounder. He's also on TikTok. You guys can look him up on TikTok as well. I know he's currently trying to build up his following on TikTok, so that would help out for my TikTok guys if you could check out Porky Flounder. But he does a lot of videos. He goes live almost every night, except for when his kids tire him out. Then you know he might take a break. But I mean, Porky goes live like almost 7 days a week, and he goes live around he'll probably go live like an hour after I'm done with this live stream here, around like 9 or 10 p.m. East Coast time. But yeah, another good live streamer. He's got some tutorial videos. He did a video here about Near Protocol, and he also did one about Pango. Okay, so he's got some he has some videos about the coins that we literally just talked about on this live stream. Okay. Also got some YouTube shorts, so if you don't got that much time, you can check him out on his YouTube shorts. And then let's go see how Porky's doing on TikTok here. You guys know me by now. Meet Damien on the Meet Damien TikTok. But let's go look up Porky here. Let's see if he comes up here. He's got a couple accounts here, but his one is PorkyFlounder65.t. PorkyFlounder65 Trades. Check him out. Pretty funny guy to listen to. Let's see. I think he recently did a TikTok in his car today. I think I was watching that. Let's just take a look at this.
Bitcoin hitting all-time highs. What does this mean to you? Well, there's an opportunity in a lot of these bottomed out altcoins to start rallying like crazy. It is not an alt season. It is the alts getting common retraces. The problem with that, some of these common retraces could be up to 1,000% upside. Kind of nuts. I do TA every single day. Link in the description. I go live on YouTube. If we get enough follows over here, I'll start going live on TikTok as well. But don't get persuaded into buying into something that's already up 700%. Pengu following, I'm talking to you. Okay? Yeah, that thing's up like crazy. It doesn't exist on my watch list right now because already made profits. I don't care about it anymore. I'm looking at other things. Also, Solana should have a pretty good week also. Just a little heads up. Hey, hit that follow button. Hopefully I see you in the next TikTok. Later.
Yeah, guys, go check him out. Let's try to get him up to 1,000 followers so he can do some live streams here on TikTok as well. All right, I think that's the magic number. You need 1,000 followers. Right now he has 320 followers on TikTok. So yeah, go ahead and check out my man Porky Flounder here. Got some great TA, some good thoughts here about the market. He won't lead you down the wrong path. He knows these coins have already made their gains, and he'll make sure that you're not gonna get blindsided when these cryptos go down on you. All right, and he's pretty good on his TA as well. Yeah, check out my man Porky Flounders. Let's try to get those numbers up for him so he can go live on TikTok. All right. But yeah, good to see Porky coming into the live stream chat here. So we talked about XLM, and then I think we had another request here for AI something. Yeah, no, Ani. We gotta look at Ani. Yeah. All right. And Idrias, you're asking me about a crypto called Lux. Okay, we'll take a look at Lux, and then Harley wants to look at HBAR. I think that's going to be it for requests, because I actually have to move on and do some other things here. I'm a busy guy. I got to check up on one of my rental cars that came back, so I got a rental car business I'm trying to run here too. All right, so look at Ani. See, I'm gonna try to speed run this as best as I can here. I'll do my best, but I'm gonna have to speed run this a little bit. Ani. Or Ani with a $sign. Yeah, I don't know what cryptocurrency or stock you're referring to here, Ani. Does anybody know what this guy might be asking me for? Okay. Yeah, I don't know which one you want me to look at here. Ani. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that one. We'll take a look at looks now for my buddy that keeps asking me about it. Looks USD. Is this looks rare? On OKX. This is cryptocurrency that's currently trading at 1 cent right now. Down 11% today. Ooh, that's a nasty red candle there on the daily time frame. And there's not that much data for me to look at here for looks. Are there any moving averages? I got a 21 EMA that might be helpful, but nothing else that I can use for moving averages here. Let me turn on the VRVP. See, can the VRVP be useful here? We have a POC right now at like 0.013 pennies. But with not that much data, there's not really much for me to go off of. The value area low says that this thing should get some support at 1 penny. Makes sense, right? Psychological number. And the value area high is sitting at roughly 2 pennies, 0.0218 pennies to be exact. So you could buy here hoping to sell at 2 pennies and you're basically doubling your money, right? That's easy enough. I don't think I really have to do too much technical analysis on that, right? Buy at 1 penny and sell at 2 pennies. You doubled your money. I mean, that's as easy as it gets, right? Buy 1 penny, sell at 2 pennies. Maybe put your stop loss at like 0.009 pennies. And you probably don't want nothing to do with it if it goes below that price. I mean, it can't get any easier than that for technical analysis, right? Put your stop loss below 1 penny. Currently buy right now at 1 penny. And then sell at 2 pennies. That's all I can do here with technical analysis. This thing is brand new. Looks like it came on OKX on March 19th of 2025. So that's all I can do for technical analysis. I got the VRVP, and that's all I can do for this here. I mean, if I did the Fibonacci, it'd probably say the same thing. It's gonna probably say like 2 pennies. Probably put the 0.236. Probably where we're at right now is at the 0.236. I mean, I'll quickly do it right now. So, right, if I measure from this candlewick top here down to here, and it says like the 0.236 is at 0.013 pennies. So you're already at like the 0.236 level. So golden pockets at 2 pennies, and I already said 2 pennies is where you should be selling it at. Oh, Porky, glad you were able to come in and at least, you know, check out the live stream. You got a chance to see me give a shout out to you. You always give me the best shout out, so I can only do a shout out about half as good as you. So that's you know, I appreciate you coming in, and I'm glad I was able to work on my shout outs and actually have another YouTuber come in and check out my live stream here. I appreciate you coming in, bro. Don't forget the like button on the way out. Oh, and Porky, you should actually see if your client wants to check out my live stream. Share my live stream with your client. See if he wants to take a look at my live streams here. Appreciate it. Whoa, Adrias, you said it was at $7 at one point? On what exchange? If you tell me what exchange it's on, I can look that up on TradingView. Right? If I type in looks and then you give me the exchange. Like, was it on Kraken? Or, I don't know, like, I don't have that many exchanges here to look at. Oh, wow, okay, got more data now. Looks like it has been trading, at least on Kraken. You said this thing was at $7 at one point? I don't see that, but I do see that this thing was at like 6-7 pennies. Probably 9 pennies at one point. Yeah. But that's all I got for data here now. You know, with Kraken Exchange, looks like you have the 100-day moving average that acted as resistance. This thing got as high as like almost 3 pennies. So yeah, I think you can, you can buy right now here, put your stop loss below 1 penny at 0.009 pennies here. And then you're just hoping for the best, and you're hoping that you don't get stopped out and this thing actually climbs up to higher prices here. You did make a higher low compared to what you did here back in April, so that's a start. And go ahead and now I got the oscillators here. And just looking at the RSI, making higher lows than the RSI, so you're doing what you need to do. You're making progress. But I think this is so easy. This is like the easiest thing ever. Just buy right now, put your stop loss below a penny, and hope that you can get to 2 or 3 pennies, and you're gonna double and triple your money. All right. Let's see. So that's looks. We looked at looks, and then John wants me to look at ZBCN. All right, we'll look at ZBCN, and then we'll finish off with Bitcoin, and then that's going to be it for this live stream, guys. And Jordan over here is saying Polyswarm NCT to $1. Ross wants you to look at Turbo. Oh, okay, I'm still getting all these requests. Okay. All right, maybe I can fit Turbo in there. I haven't looked at Turbo in a while, but let's first look at ZBCN, and then we'll look at Turbo. So ZBCN currently at 0.0034 pennies, and I have done previous chart work on ZBCN. Right now, ZBCN is currently trading near the 0.236 retracement level at like 3,100. 31,000 is the number that we're going to be using, right? 0.0034 or 0.0031. Bounce off this level, go to higher prices. And we're looking to see if we can get up to that 618 retracement at 51,000. Okay, 51,000 is where your first take profit target should be at. And then if you want to stay in the trade a little bit longer, take profit 2 is going to either be your 786 retracement at 60,000 or maybe 71,000, which is where we saw this thing trading at back in May 30th. I know I did a video here saying that, when could a bleeding stop for ZBCN, and I thought ZBCN could come down to the 200-day moving average. Currently sitting at 18,000, but looks like we actually got a little bit of a bounce here off the 50-day moving average. We kind of like threatened to go lower, but then we came right back up. Looks like when we got resolution about the tariff situation last week, and that the tariffs got kicked down the road till August, that's when we got a little bit of a pump here, and now we're going sideways consolidation. I think you're going to get continuous sideways consolidation and then continue up to probably higher prices here for ZBCN. Let's take a look at the oscillators real quick. Oscillators, RSI's at neutral territory of 49. So yeah, I think you're doing quite all right here for ZBCN. Just don't go lower than what you did here back on July 6th, right? Don't go lower than 23,000. Okay, 23,000 should act as support with the 100-day moving average sitting at that level. But if that's not going to hold, then you get the last line of support. The line in the sand has to be drawn here at 18,000. If you lose 18,000, then there's something wrong with the ZBCN, and you don't want to stick around for that. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at Turbo now. So I haven't had any requests for Turbo, so I appreciate you mentioning that. I know it had a pretty good weekend so far. Turbo currently trading at 5,895, down 2.5% today. But today just started about 30 minutes ago. It actually had a pretty good Monday here. We were up 36% on Turbo. Congratulations on the Turbo investors and traders out there. As soon as you get above that 200-day moving average, it was go time for Turbo, and Turbo went turbo on us. All right, erasing a lot of these losses that we've had here back in June. All that got erased with just one daily candle here, putting you right back to where you were in May, early May of 2025. So I think Turbo's doing just fine. I'm a little bit curious to see what it looks like on the RSI here. RSI sitting at 71, so you are overbought on Turbo, but it could stay overbought, especially if Bitcoin's going to go to higher prices. And you haven't been overbought like this since April, where we saw like 84 on the RSI. So we'll see if Turbo has some more juice in the tank left, but you know, we are a little bit wary that, you know, Turbo could come down on us because the RSI is overbought right now. Let me move up these oscillators here. And yeah, you had a green buy dot here on June 24th. You're just waiting for, when you see a red dot show up on market cipher B here, that's when you should probably know, like, that's the bat signal saying now's the time to get out. Get out of Turbo when you see that red dot show up on market cipher B. But the problem with the red dot though is that it could literally happen that day and Turbo could be down like 20%, and it's like, wow, okay, that didn't really help me. But I don't know where you guys are at on your Turbo investment, but I would put a stop loss and just figure out how much are you willing to lose, right? If you made this money right here, how much of this profit are you willing to lose, right? Okay, if I just draw this out here from where we are right now, are you willing to lose 10% and see Turbo come down to 5,200? Are you willing to take it down to the 200-day moving average and lose all this progress and then have your stop loss at down 25% from where we are right now? That's something that you have to figure out for yourself. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't make that decision for you. But just know that after making a impulse candle like this, we are most likely going to come down at some point here. And you might lose half of your progress. It might do like a 0.5 retracement. Let me just draw that out real quick here. But we could see something like this where we come down to 0.5 retracement at like 5,000 on Turbo here. Okay, and that might be, maybe you might put your stop loss a little bit lower than that at like 4,600. But yeah, these are the levels to be looking out for on Turbo, anywhere between 5,000 to 5,500 after making this quick impulse move up to the higher prices. Now, if Turbo continues going to higher prices and you're in this for the long term here, then yeah, there's a 1272 that says Turbo could get up to like 8,000, and then there's a 1618 that says Turbo could get up to like 9,300. Retro says no, we won't come down. I like the optimism, but we know with most of these assets, they do go up and they do go down, but they usually go up more than they go down if they're in the bull market, which I believe we're in, but we'll see. Let's see. Rich is saying that Bitcoin is catching support on the 15-minute 200 MA. I'm glad you said that, Rich, because we're gonna look at Bitcoin now. Okay, let's go. You just made a request for Pengu. We talked about that earlier in the live stream here. Pengu. Well, Pudgy Penguins, right? I believe it needs to cool off for now. Okay. But if it continues going up to higher prices here, we could see 4 cents on Pudgy Penguins as a possible price target, and then also 5 cents for your upside target there. Okay. But if we start losing levels here, then we could come down to like roughly 2 pennies, a little bit above 2 pennies, 0.023 pennies, where we had some sideways trading action for like a couple of days here. before we went up again. That's your downside target for Pudgy Penguin for now. Okay. Let's go into Bitcoin now. Excuse me. Let's see, 50-minute chart. Rich, okay, let's go into the 50-minute chart. You said Bitcoin catching support on the 15-minute 200 MA. Okay, I see it. 200 MA right here, the red line. We haven't even touched it yet, but I see what you mean. Like, we are kind of hovering above it. RSI, neutral territory. We saw a lot of the bleeding, a lot of the blood earlier this morning, around like 12 o'clock in the afternoon here. We had an RSI of like 21 on the 15-minute time frame. We did have a red dot at like 7 o'clock, and what comes next after a red dot is a green dot. Will we get a green dot sooner rather than later? And if so, can we start going long on some of these cryptos again? Has the bleeding stopped for Bitcoin? Let's take a look at the MACD here on the 50-minute time frame. You can see that we had green, some green buying pressure here, earlier on, towards the late afternoon of Monday, going into the evening hours here. But now, I don't know, it's a little bit dicey there, Rich. It looks like it wants to go into the red. It looks like it wants some selling pressure. I think we're kind of like in no man's land. We're gonna have to just wait and see what we're gonna do here. Are we gonna lose the 200 MA and start getting some red candles here in the MACD? Because even though we had a red dot on market cipher B, it doesn't mean that we're gonna get a green dot anytime soon. Like, we might have to come down a little bit further and then get a green dot, like a dead cat bounce maybe, and then keep on going lower. Oh, that would suck. But I mean, you can remain bullish on Bitcoin and crypto as long as you're above that 200 MA, that red line on the 50-minute time frame. You start losing that, and then I have to start looking for shorts. See what I can short out there to try to make some money for day trading here. I mean, this would have been the time to short, right? When Bitcoin was topping out at $123,000. Obviously, we know that was the top now, for now. And just looking at the oscillators again, looking at the RSI, you know, Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame was overbought at 81.82. That could have been a good time to enter a short. You had to wait a little bit because Bitcoin did go up to $123,000. But if you were able to short that top, slowly over time, your short would have been paying you. And then it looks like the big payday was around like 10 o'clock in the morning here. But I mean, come on, who actually was awake? Were you awake at 3:30 in the morning to short Bitcoin? Because that was the time to short Bitcoin. It was 3:30 in the morning. I wasn't awake, I was sleeping. But that would have been the time to enter a short, and then you would have got paid all throughout this morning. I guess now we're all waiting, like, when is Bitcoin gonna like stop going down and actually start going up again? And oh my god, Rich, look at this, Rich. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, Rich? I see a bearish engulfing candle on the 15-minute time frame. We're losing the 200 MA right now. Is it time to start shorting Bitcoin right now? Is it time to start shorting these altcoins? We're losing the 200 MA on the 15-minute right now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know about that. We're now getting a red candle here on the MACD. Oh, that's unfortunate, guys. Looks like I'm about to end the live stream, and so is looks like I'm about to end the live stream and end Bitcoin as well. I'm only kidding. But no, looks like we're gonna go down tonight. Especially if this candle wick closes on the 15-minute time frame, and then we get another 15-minute red candle. below the 200-day moving 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame. I think yeah, I think it might be time to close out your longs and possibly consider going into a short here if you're day trading. But yeah, that's Bitcoin. I think we're gonna go down tonight on Bitcoin and crypto. How far down? Well, I have to go back into my long time frames here, and I think we might see the 786 retracement at $117,800 Bitcoin. That could happen later on tonight. Tomorrow we might see $113,000, $114,000 Bitcoin if we're going to continue dropping down on price here. And maybe this 21 EMA will come to the rescue and kind of give us a little bit of support by that point. But yeah, looks like Bitcoin needs to cool off a little bit here still. All right. That's going to be it for this live stream. I appreciate you guys coming into the live stream. Love Thy Neighbor thinks it's risky to short. Well, everything has risk involved. It's how do you manage that risk and where do you put your stop loss so you don't lose too much money. But yeah, you have to do something risky in order to make some money here. But that's going to be it for the live stream, guys. I don't know if I'm going to be going live tomorrow. Plan on seeing me on Wednesday, probably early in the afternoon. Latest would be like 6 p.m. is when you could catch my live stream. 6 p.m. East Coast time, Eastern time. Take care, guys. See you in the next live stream. Let's go. That indicator with the red and green dots, that is my Market Cipher B indicator. Yeah, check out Market Cipher B. You see it right there. That's the name of the indicator right there. Market Cipher B. The free version. Right? If I go into indicators here, Market Cipher B by Falcon Coin. Hope that helps.